Hello, good afternoon. Today I want to speak about some very important document. The proof of address. It's very common that when foreign citizens submit a manifestation of interest here in Portugal with SEF, or when they submit an application to a resident visa, one of the documents that are usually required is the proof of accommodation, or evidence that the applicant has adequate accommodation. This means that the person should have a Portuguese address. There are many questions about this. What is this proof of accommodation? When this accommodation is necessary? So I would like to speak a little bit about this to clear some doubts about the accommodation. This proof of accommodation is nothing more than the proof of a Portuguese address. That means that the foreigner citizen should have a Portuguese address when he is submitting an application with SEF, or when he is requesting a visa with some Portuguese embassy. So this Portuguese address means that the person should have a stable address in Portugal. Usually that means that the person has a lease agreement or rental agreement, or that the person has a property here, that bought some property, and the person has a public deed to prove that this address belongs to that person. And this will prove that the person has a Portuguese address. The Portuguese address can be proved with a physical document. This document can be, like I said, a lease agreement, a public deed, or even, in the last case, junta de freguesia, or resident proof that you get from the administrative organizational area of the place where you are living inside some city. So one of these three documents is required. When we are talking about the public deed, you don't need to show that you have the property for how many months or how many years or something, because the public deed means that you have a property, that you are the owner of a property, and based on that it's not necessary to show how many months or how many years you have this property. That means that if you have a property, you are completely fine. You just need to show the proof of the acquisition of the property. If you are renting a property, this property should be rented for at least some period of time, at least 12 months. 12 months, 1 year. This means that you have a property during the time that you are, the minimum time that you are requesting your visa or the resident card. So, as you know, less than 1 year means that you are here for a temporary purpose, not for a resident purpose. If you have for at least 1 year, it means that you are here to live at least for the period of 1 year. So the idea of this rental agreement is exactly that, is an agreement for long duration. So this will be the document that any Portuguese embassy or the SEF will request to see if in fact you have a stable address for at least 1 year. The junta de freguesia, the atestado de residência or resident proof, doesn't mention the period, but is also a document that is accepted by SEF. The difference between this and the rental agreement is that the rental agreement proves that you have this document, that you have this Portuguese address, and you made this document with the landlord. The lease agreement, this first document. The second document, the resident proof, can apply for situation of lease agreement, but can only apply also to another situations like the free use of some space. Imagine that you have a friend here in Portugal that gives you the permission to use his property. So for this you don't have a lease agreement because you are not paying to your friend to stay here. So this will be one of the situations that you have a resident proof issued by junta de freguesia. For this document, usually, if you have a lease agreement, you don't need usually more documents. There are some cases that they can ask you a bill of water, or electricity, or even internet bill, but most of the cases they don't ask. They only ask for the rental agreement. But if you are asking for the resident proof from Junta de Freguesia without having a rental agreement, they usually ask you two witnesses, with capacity to vote on that administrative area, on that Junta de Freguesia. That means that usually will be Portuguese citizens, but not in all the cases, but mostly it will be Portuguese citizens. These persons have a very important task here because they will make a sworn declaration that you are living in that area. So should be authentic, this sworn witness to declare that yes, they know you and you are living in that area. So this is the Junta de Freguesia. About the lease agreement, there are so many doubts about what is legal, what is not legal, what are the requirements, and we could discuss about this during several hours about what are the requirements of the lease agreement, what is fair, what is not fair. If we talk about the market of Lisbon, it's a very competitive market. It's very difficult to find the offer for so many demand. So it's very common that when some property appears and is at a good price, the property straight away disappear. It's very common that. So it's also common that the landlords demand for extra security, security deposits. Some of them even ask for a guarantor, in Portuguese a fiadora, to guarantee that the rent will be paid. When they ask for a Portuguese fiador, a Portuguese guarantor, is not common that the foreigners have some Portuguese fiador to present. But to avoid that situation, the landlord usually also asks for extra security deposits or extra number of rents. And here we have to distinguish two things. Security deposit is one thing, rents in advance is another thing. So rents in advance will guarantee that you pay your rent on time, and in case that you don't pay, the landlord has also several months in front to guarantee that he doesn't lose money, or that he doesn't fall into a situation that you are living there for free. Security deposit, for another side, is something different. Security deposit is to guarantee that you use the property, you receive the property in some, let's presume, some good state, some good appearance, and you have to return to the landlord that property in the same good condition. So if you don't do it, if you present the property completely full of damages, broken walls, some gaps in the plumber system, in the water leaks, something like that, the security deposit, if these damages came from your actions, the security deposit will cover exactly that. That doesn't mean that all the money that you paid from security deposit, it will be used for that, but the necessary money to cover the damages will be taken from that security deposit. So this is the intention of this extra warranty. About what is legal and what is not legal. Right now, the legal is to ask for 2 months in advance 2 security deposits. This is what is common, is what is legal, is what the government determined in the last budget of the government. So this is what fair. Of course, there are many cases that landlords keep on asking much more months in advance, much more security deposits, but you can inform the landlord that he should not ask you more than this, because this is what is determined by the government. So this is what is fair. So yeah, for now we'll stay from here, and there are many other details that we can speak about the rental agreements and about the proof of residence, but this is the basic that you should consider.